And now, since we have a Clermont County Sheriff here, we're always glad to have. Would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to start this meeting?
And
Oh,
we
and
also have.
and our senior services, if you would too. Would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Go right ahead.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And for those who are on Zoom from Clermont County Senior Services, thank you. Thanks for being here with us today. We are glad you're in attendance. And we will move on with our agenda. We have a call to order already. The first order of business is item number B. It is for the approval of regular session minutes for June the 10th, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make the motion.
And I will second that motion. Gail, roll call.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Item number C are proclamations. We have two proclamations today. One is for Flag Day, and the other will be for Elder Abuse Awareness. So we will start with the Flag Day proclamation. I don't think we have anyone accepting this proclamation today that's here. Is that correct, Gail?
Yes.
Okay. Our first proclamation is for Flag Day, which is June 14th, 2024. National Flag Week is June 9th through the 15th, 2024. Whereas since the Second Continental Congress adopted its design more than 200 years ago, the Stars and Stripes have been a powerful symbol of freedom, hope, and opportunity. We fly Old Glory from government buildings, schools, city halls, police and fire stations, stores, offices, and our front porches. Wherever Americans are gathered, sporting events, places of worship, parades, rallies, our flag waves proudly, representing the enduring spirit of our country. And whereas on June 14, 1777, the Continental Congress passed a resolution defining the colors, configuration, and symbolism of the Stars and Stripes, which is known as our American flag. The American flag helps us to never forget the bravery of the men and women in uniform who defended it. When we look at the red, white, and blue, we are reminded of the blood spilled across generations to safeguard liberty. We are filled with pride and patriotism and reminded that our fight for freedom. And whereas on May 30th, 1916, President Woodrow Wilson issued a proclamation deeming June 14th as Flag Day. On this day and the week to follow, let us recommit ourselves to the principles upon which this country was founded. With grateful hearts, let us reflect upon the price of freedom and the brave souls who gave their lives to preserve it. As we raise our flag, as we stand and salute or place our hands over our hearts, let us renew our sacred pledge that we will forever remain one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, therefore, we, the Clermont County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim June 14th as Flag Day and the week of June 9th through the 15th as National Flag Week in Clermont County. And we encourage all citizens in Clermont County to proudly display the American flag and to observe the pride of all those days from Flag Day through Independence Day as a time to honor America. And this proclamation is signed by all three commissioners, myself, Claire Corcoran, Vice President, and Bonnie Batchelor, member. Put your flags up at your porches and celebrate Flag Day and Flag Week. And now I have another proclamation for Elder Abuse Awareness Day here in Clermont County, and I understand that accepting this will be Bill DeHaas. Bill, do you want to come up with me? Come on up if you're here for that. Proclamation for Elder Abuse Awareness Day in Clermont County, June 15th, 2024. Whereas older adults deserve to be treated with respect and dignity to enable them to serve as leaders, mentors, volunteers, and vital participating members of our community. Whereas in 2006, the International Network for the Prevention of Elder Abuse, in support of the United Nations International Plan of Action, proclaimed a day to recognize the significance of elder abuse as a public health and human rights issue. And whereas the National Center of Elder Abuse and the Clermont County Senior Services recognizes the importance of acting to raise awareness, prevent, and address elder abuse. And whereas ageism and social isolation are major causes of elder abuse in the United States, and whereas preventing abuse of older adults through maintaining and improving social supports like senior centers, human services, and transportation will allow everyone to continue to live as independently as possible and contribute to the life and vibrancy of our community. And whereas, where there is justice, there can be no abuse. Therefore, we urge all people to restore justice by honoring our older adults and putting an end to abuse. Therefore, let it be proclaimed that we, the Board of Clermont County Commissioners, do hereby and hereon proclaim June 15, 2024 as Elder Abuse Awareness Day in Clermont County. Signed by all three commissioners, myself, Claire Corcoran, Vice President, and Bonnie Batchelor, Member. On behalf of the Clermont County Commissioners and our three commissioners, please accept this proclamation for Elder Abuse Awareness. Thank you, sir. Podium's yours.
Yeah, just real quick. Thank you, Commissioners, for the proclamation. We greatly appreciate that. And World Elder Abuse Awareness Day is incredibly important across our nation. But at Clermont Senior Services, elder abuse awareness is every day. And we do a really great job of it. I've got with me today part of our Adult Protective Services team, Laura Newberry, our APS manager, Marla Catron, an investigator, and Debbie Hines, also an investigator. And Debbie also facilitates our I-team. It's an interdisciplinary team where she brings in other community entities and organizations so that she can bring about awareness of elder abuse in the community. And the idea there is to work better together, talk about situations, and ensure that our older adult population is being looked after and cared for. I think that's all I have to say. We greatly appreciate the acknowledgement and proclamation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here today. You bet. Thanks for the job.
Dave wants a picture.
Yeah. Take pictures. Oh, yeah.
Oh, back up, ladies.
Come on.
One shot now.
Thanks so much.
Good.
Thank you.
Two shots.
You're fine. Thanks for being here. We will move on to item D. We have a presentation by Bill DeHaas, Director of Clermont County Senior Services, 2023 Annual Report. Bill, thanks for being here and thanks for accepting the proclamation.
Thank you again for having me. Okay. You're ready. Again, thanks for allowing me to come in today and just give you guys a little bit of an update on our 2023 year end. It was an exciting year. A lot. There we go. Just to kind of make sure everyone is aware why we exist in our community. We provide a broad range of community-based and home-based services to keep our older adults living as independently for as long as possible in their own homes. Delaying nursing home placement and therefore saving taxpayers the cost of that typical nursing home placement. I'm just going to give you a quick snapshot of what our typical customer looks like. 64% are female. The median age is 76, and very typical for our customers to be living alone. Of course, our youngest is 60 years of age. That's our eligibility criteria, the minimum age to qualify for our service. And as of last year, our oldest recipient was 102. Pretty phenomenal. We've seen quite a few of those individuals surpassing 100 over my time at the agency. We love serving. We love serving all of them, but that's pretty fantastic. And you can see there too, the largest group, age group that we serve is those in their 70s. 37% of all of our customers are in that 70 age bracket, and really what we got there, 25% for the 60 to 70. So large majority in their 70s, and 7% 90 plus. So we got we have that 102-year-old, but several that are 90 plus. So that's pretty phenomenal as well, and we're proud to say that we're helping them remain in the community. I just wanted to give you a quick review of our revenue and expenses over the year. We did come in with a surplus last year, and that is directly related to workforce issues. It's been a struggle for us, as it has really every business in our community and across the nation. And with those workforce issues, obviously create some service delivery issues as well. But those things are changing in 2024. We're already seeing a fully staffed medical driver department. We are starting to see more applicants for our home health field, which has been the struggle that we've had. And we're also in that loss of workforce. We had a couple administrative positions that remained empty through 2023, to some extent purposefully. It was an opportunity for me to learn a little bit more about how things operated. But coming here in 2024, we're going to be looking to fill those positions again. So, as you all well know, the levy is, of course, the payer of last resort. So if there are services for an older adult with another funding source, we always assist that individual or that family member to locate those other dollars to provide services to the individual. And a big piece, I want to hit on this too, a big piece of our levy funding allows us to use those dollars as local match for other grant fundings that, again, help us leverage our dollars even further. So it's a great opportunity for us. Moving on, so this year I kind of broke this presentation down a little bit into our community-based services and our home-based services. So what you're seeing there is our community-based, so our adult day services, our lifelong learning centers, congregate meal site, and our transportation services. Of those, they've all but lifelong learning stayed pretty stagnant from 22 as far as numbers go. But our lifelong learning centers, the number of visits jumped up tremendously. I think it was almost a 30% increase in attendance to those centers, which are at the Union Township Civic Center and the Miami Township Civic Center. And that's those are locations for older adults to come in and participate in various pieces of programming, whether it be health and wellness, education, socialization, various activities. A lot to offer the older adult population at our lifelong learning centers. Transportation, you'll see there, 28,000 trips, just over 28,000 trips last year, and almost 500,000 miles traveled. You are certainly going to see those numbers increase for our 2024 year-end presentation because we've got a lot more drivers on the road, and that also increases other services like our adult day. Having more drivers allows us to increase the census at our adult day program because we do provide transportation to and from that location. So just the numbers, I definitely think that we're going to see all those numbers increase. So some of our home-based programs, case management, home care, home delivered meals, and our home repair program. Home delivered meals increased by about 6% from 2022. So last year we served just over 450 individuals to provide them a nutritious noontime meal. We're very, very proud of that program, as we are with all of our programs. Home repair increased by 18% from 2022. And a lot of that has to do with the grant funding that we receive. We receive CDBG funds and HAG grant dollars that can go right into the homes to make safety repairs for older adults to help them, again, remain as independent in their home as long as possible. So you see right there one of the very nice wheelchair accessible ramps that was constructed at the home of a residence. I'm gonna move on. Volunteer resources. This is one of my more favorite programs. We had over 400 volunteers last year. That consists of community members, law enforcement officers, to go throughout the community, and a lot of different opportunities for an individual wishing to volunteer. You can see that first picture of before and after of that home. Shrubbery, quite overgrown, which becomes quite difficult for some older adults to maintain. We had a volunteer group come in and clear that out so you can really see the beautification of the outside of that home. Really nice. We obviously do a lot of work with yard work, cleaning up flower beds, picking up branches and things like that. And I'd be remiss, again, not to mention our law enforcement agencies throughout the county. They do a tremendous job of going out just to do kind of friendly visits, wellness checks on a regular basis to check on the more isolated seniors in our county. And I hear time and time again from those individuals how much they appreciate really just having that officer's presence, there in their driveway for a little while. It lets others know that folks are there checking on them and being mindful of it. So, our volunteer services also with our Meals on Wheels program. I think last year, just over 70% of our meals were delivered by volunteers. So all of these things, we have volunteer shoppers that do grocery shopping. These things also help leverage our levy dollars to ensure that we're able to provide as much service to those older adults in Clermont County. So we really are so appreciative of our volunteers. And this one here kind of fits for today with it being World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. These are our contracted services. We are the contracted agency to provide adult protective services here in Clermont County. And I intentionally left all those years' stats on the board because I wanted everyone to see just the sheer volume and the increases that we've seen over the years. So just in a, not quite an 8-year span, we've more than doubled referrals. In 2016, just over 250 referrals, and as of 2023, over 550 referrals of some form of elder abuse. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Our I team is partially responsible for that, getting the word out about what elder abuse is. There are more mandated reporters nowadays to make referrals when they see something that they feel is suspicious or concerning. But we have, again, those ladies that were with me earlier. They are our Adult Protective Services investigators. They go out and, I think the important piece for everyone to know with Adult Protective Services is that we're always looking for the least restrictive resolution. The idea is to, depending on what the issue is, help them find some resources to resolve that issue and keep them in their home. But often there are times when, a nursing home placement, finding a guardian for an individual is necessary. But what I would say, and I should have said during the proclamation to the community, keep an eye out on your older adults. And not just when you see a concern, be a piece of their life, their daily life, checking on them. That is one of the only things that will likely create a decrease in these referrals is community involvement in the lives of older adults. So a very, very important piece of our services. We also contract with the Clermont County Probate Court to serve guardianships and investigations here in Clermont County. We did 105 of those last year, so a pretty significant number there as well. I think this is my last slide. Just our senior affordable housing. Again, we have 7 of those facilities scattered throughout the county. And as of last year, the end of last year, we had 500 older adults on a waiting list to find one of those affordable housing vacancy. This is something that is definitely on our radar. We are looking for potential funding opportunities to create more of these facilities throughout the county. Affordable housing, the need is not going to go away, these are wonderful buildings. They really are. I hadn't been to one in a while, but I brought some new board members to do an orientation and visit it. So it'd been a little while since I'd been there, and I'd forgotten how wonderful they really are and how well kept they are. And the apartments are perfect for an older adult that's needing a little bit of assistance with the cost of living. So, just to wrap it up, we are always committed to be responsible stewards of taxpayer dollars. We look at how we are serving the community every day, and always trying to find more efficient and effective ways to serve our older adults, and we love doing it. So I am happy to accept any questions you might have, if you have any.
Question?
Bill, I'll just say all the many years that I served on the housing board, how much I appreciate senior service. Used to do the volunteer delivery of the meals, get to meet some of the residents who received those meals and how appreciative they were. And also, I will always say nothing but the best for senior service, because they allowed my dad, after my mother passed away, to be able to stay in his home. And he so looked forward to them coming. You know, he'd always have something cooking so they would praise him for it, you know. So
Yeah.
you do a great job.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Bill, just a question.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, Senior Services does a great job, and with the expanding population of seniors that, you know, are developing every day, every month, you know, every year here, not only in Clermont County, but in the entire state. One of the things that we've looked at for a long time, and it has been reported, is, you know, I can remember Cindy standing here, your predecessor, and standing here and talking about the challenge that we face when it comes to, you know, affordable housing for seniors. And it's obvious that waiting list grows. I can remember that waiting list was down in the high 3s, and then in the 4, and now in the 5s. You know, I would encourage, you know, a team of people getting together to really attack and solve that problem. You know, instead of kicking that can a little further down the road, why don't we put a team together here in Clermont County that can start to reduce this number and can build some housing that can result in our seniors living in safe configurations and environments. Why don't we do that?
I would love that.
You know, I would too. I know. I think we as a board would love to see it also.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are many seniors on a waiting list. They love to see it too.
They would love to see it too.
Because it just grows each
Yeah,
year. I
it
know
just
all the years I was on the board, it just, every year, it's more and more.
It does. I don't have those numbers broken down, but I think, so we have a location in Batavia, Dimmitt Woods. We have Summerside Woods, just outside of Eastgate, and Amelia Crossings. Those are our most highly sought after locations, but every facility has a waiting list.
Yeah.
And it's those facilities, Clermont County residents take precedent when vacancies occur.
Well, let's team together with whoever we have to team
Great.
together. And, you know, this is a particular problem that, you know, can just be solved with money.
Yeah.
You bet.
And I would
Thank
be-
you.
Very much, Commissioners.
I would be more than happy to help with that.
I'm on board.
You bet.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thanks.
We'll move on in our agenda to item number E, public participation. Is there anyone here today with the public that'd like to participate? Seeing none, I'll close public participation. We'll move on with item F. Item F is the consent agenda. Board, you've had the consent agenda previous to this meeting and had the opportunity to review it. Are there any items that need to be removed from the consent agenda for
No.
further? Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve if you would like.
I'll second. Thank you so much. Gail, roll call.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes, we'll move on with the non-consent agenda. Non-consent agenda starts on page 5. On item number 5, page 3. I'm sorry about that. First item up is recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners adopt resolution number 052-24 to approve payment to vendors in the amount of $2,009,496.35 as outlined in the BCC approval invoice report for checks dated June 12, 2024 BCC directed prepaid invoice reports and the procurement card transaction report is presented by the county auditor on 6/10/2024, and further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants pursuant to section 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Item number 6. Item number 6 is a contract for law enforcement services. How are you, sir?
Good, sir. How are you?
Good.
Number 6 is a recommendation to execute a contract for law enforcement services between the Clermont County Board of Commissioners, Clermont County Sheriff, and the Board of Tate Township Trustees, which is located at 2821 Dean Road, Bethel, Ohio 45106, for the provision of one contract deputy for Tate Township. The Tate Township Board of Trustees shall be responsible for $91.86 annually for a bullet-resistant vest, $240.66 annually for MDC air cards, and all other costs as outlined in the table below and in the agreement. This is effective for a period of 3 years beginning 7/1/2024 through 6/30/2027, pursuant to the terms and conditions in the contract and in compliance with section 311.29 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 6. Item number 6 also includes the projection for each year of 25, 26, and 27. You can obviously review that at any time. Do I have a motion to approve item number 6?
I will make the motion, sir.
And I will second. Any further conversation?
No.
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Item number 7. Afternoon, Suki.
Good afternoon, Board. Item 7 is a recommendation to approve a request to advertise for bids. This will be for the furnishing of county engineer highway storage racking pursuant to the specifications, and authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in the newspaper on June 20th, 2024. And bids will be received here at 2 p.m. local time on Thursday, July 11th, where they'll be publicly open and read aloud. We're also putting this notice on the Clermont County website.
You have heard the reading of item number 7. Do I have a motion for approval?
I will make that motion.
And I will second that motion. Any conversation, discussion? Suki, do these shelves go in the new facility?
Yes, sir, they will. It's a combination pallet racking and
It
cantilever racking,
Mm-hmm.
so that we don't have to keep laying everything all over the floor.
That's great. That's great. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks.
Item number 8. Kennedy.
Good
Afternoon.
This is a recommendation to approve the request for proposals for program management services for the Ohio Department of Development Lead Safe Ohio Grant Program pursuant to the specifications, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in a newspaper of general circulation on June 20th, 2024, with said qualifications to be received until 2 p.m. local time on Thursday, July 11th, 2024, in the office of the Board of County Commissioners, and the notice will also be posted on the county's website.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 8. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
And I will second that. Any further conversation or questions? Kennedy, what the Ohio Department of Development Lead Safe Ohio Grant Program? If we are successful in this grant, what is its scope?
So the commissioners were granted $930,000 to do lead mitigation, lead abatement. Our scope of it right now, we're thinking, so it's pre-1978 houses. It has to be low to moderate income housing, and we're focusing probably on the windows, soffits, and doors is the plan as of right now, but we need a team to get together to assist us in managing this project.
You bet. Thank you. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Thanks, Kennedy. Item number 9. Dottie. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Item number 9 is the recommendation to execute a memorandum of understanding between the Department of Job and Family Services, Children's Protective Services Division, and the Clermont County Family and Children's First, FCF, whose administrative agent is the Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services. It's relative to the reimbursement to FCF for Operational Capacity Building Fund, Multi-System Youth, Capacity Fund, and Family-Centered Services and Support expenditures for the year of 2025. It's an amount not to exceed $79,651. This is to support components of the FCF program, which serves multi-need children and their families in Clermont County, Ohio.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 9. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Item number 10.
Item number 10 is a recommendation to execute an amendment number 2 to the Memorandum of Understanding between the Department of Job and Family Services, Children's Protective Services Division, and the Clermont County Family Children's First, FCF, whose administrative agent again is the Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services. It was previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on 8/30 of 2023 for the reimbursement to FCF for Operational Capacity Fund, Multi-System Youth Capacity Fund, and the Family-Centered Services and Support expenditures for 2024. We need to add an additional funding source for public assistance to reimburse FCF for 2024 expenditures, and also, number 2, to increase the total amount not to exceed from $79,651 to $92,207.50. It's an increase of $12,556.50. It's effective for the period of 7/1 of 23 through 6/30 of 24. But all other terms and conditions of the original Memorandum of Understanding is to remain in full force and effect, and this is obviously contingent upon the receipt of the required purchase order.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 10. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that. Any further conversation or discussion?
No, sir.
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 11.
Commissioner, I believe we
Oh.
need to table that one.
Okay, would you make a motion to table? And if you make that motion to table, is there a time certain that we're going to re-establish this, or are we tabling it
We can table that till June 26th.
June 26th?
I serve on that board, so I can't vote on it.
Okay, all right. Then I will move to table this item number 11, to a time certain of June the 24th, 2024.
June
June
26th.
June 26th, I'm sorry, June 26th, 2024. Okay? All right, we will move to item number 12. Emily?
Need to do a roll call.
Oh, that's right. We do.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Got it.
Keep us in line, Gail.
I do. I'm sorry.
Item number 12.
I have a recommendation to resolve to approve and authorize changes in the annual appropriation resolution number 181-23 for calendar year 2024. We have 2 supplemental appropriations. One is retirement payout for municipal court adult probation for $25,654, and one is for other expenses for animal control restricted donation for $60,000.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 12. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
And I will second. Any further conversation or discussion?
Emily, is that the 60,000 donation?
Yes, so it was received in '23 and budgeted, but it had not been spent yet, and so it's budgeted from a different org than the typical animal shelter org, so we needed to put that in place, so it
I think that's significant, especially since the last meeting that we had here where there were some people that asked about specifically dog kennel funds, and the fact that when someone makes a donation to our animal shelter and they restrict those funds and actually make a request as to exactly what they wanted that money spent on. In this particular case, I believe they wanted it spent on the new washer and dryer and the utilities that are associated with that washer and dryer, or whatever it takes to hook.
list, yeah, and that was
Yeah,
on there.
that hooks that up. So just so people know, those monies aren't spent as part of the general operation of the animal fund, of the animal shelter. They're actually kept in that fund for that particular
So
purpose.
they sit in the dog and kennel fund, but as I said, they have their own org, so they cannot be spent out running through this org.
So to make it kind of simple to think about it, that they're really a different color of money. You know,
It's not its own bucket.
You bet. You bet. You know, there are donations that are made to the animal shelter that go into the actual general operating funds of the shelter and are used appropriately for that purpose. So I think that's worthwhile, you know.
My understanding is a restricted donation has to have a letter, you know, go through the auditor's office and everything to get.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Thank you. That concludes our non-consent agenda. We will move to additions to the agenda. Any additions to the agenda?
Yeah, Ms. Akers can stand back up to the podium because we
Okay.
we do have a supplemental addition to the agenda, so we need to add that first and then she'll present it.
We'll add it first and then you can present it. Board, you've heard a recommendation to add a item to the agenda that's for authorizing changes in the annual appropriation for this year. Do I have a motion to add it
I'll
to the
make a
agenda?
motion to add.
And I will second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes, item's been added to the agenda. Emily, if you do us the honors and tell us about it.
This is a recommendation to resolve to approve and authorize changes in the annual appropriation resolution number 181-23. This is two supplementals, both with Sheriff Road Patrol org. We have regular salaries for $22,932 and the fringe benefits for $13,770. And this is for like half a year of the staffing for an additional records request position to help with all the load of the records requests that the sheriff's office has, especially with the body cameras.
You bet. Board, you've heard the reading of this request for an additional appropriation for records resources for the Clermont County Sheriff's Office. Do I have a motion for approval?
I will make that motion.
And I will second that.
Commissioner?
Clarifications, questions? Go ahead.
No.
And, oh, I thought
Yeah,
maybe you
I'm
had one.
sorry.
No, yeah, I mean, it was just noteworthy that this particular request is for the records requests that are associated with all of the special requests that comes to the sheriff's office, but in addition, for those that are required for the, what would you call it, the maintenance and retrieval of body cam information and videos, and what it takes to redact a particular video. You know, we understand that it's not unusual to go through one of those and it actually take 4 hours for one particular video to do a redaction. So I know the sheriff had made a statement, he was about 6 months behind on those requests, and he wants to make sure that they're done in a reasonable manner and in a reasonable time frame. So
And I don't think people who put those requests in realize
they don't.
how time-consuming and the man-hours that it takes to
do
do
that.
one.
So, you know, that's a great thing for the public. It's a great thing for our sheriff's department, but it has a cost and it has a time frame associated with it. So, roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Do we have any other additions, Tom?
No, sir.
All right, we will move on to item number I. Item number I is county staff elected official discussion. Any of our county staff? We have 4 or 5 here in this room. Like to address the board?
Unless the board has any questions.
Okay.
I would just say one thing about our schedule. We are actually not having session next week because of Juneteenth. This holiday is on a Wednesday,
Okay.
and we'll be back on the 26th.
Back on the 26th. I can't believe June is going to be over.
Let me just say something.
Sure,
I'm
go
on
ahead.
staff. I just want to say to Jessica, so glad you're here. You're doing a fantastic job. Jessica is our new assistant administrator over procurement. And thank you for joining our team.
You bet. It's great to have you. No question. No question. And with that, since we're in county elected official discussions and we haven't gotten to board member comments yet, since we have Angie here and Tom, you know, one of the things that I'd like to talk about just a little bit is obviously we had some inquiries as to the animal shelter. You know, we seem to continue to have inquiries about the animal shelter. Animal sheltering is a difficult job. The people that do that, you know, they are dedicated to that particular process, and it is really tough to do that. We listened to the folks that brought up some of the issues. We're currently looking at the animal shelter as far as the management and the resources that are associated with it. One of the things that came up was about the washer and dryer. Our staff, Jessica, thank you, you know, has gotten our staff on that pretty quick, and I understand that we have purchased washer and dryer, and that we're ready to install pretty quickly an interim
The update tomorrow.
interim washer and dryer tomorrow to try and alleviate some of the machinery that's needed to help with laundry out there. In addition, we had a fencing contractor on the site this past week to fix kennels and fencing that was in disrepair and needed to be it needed some maintenance. Maintenance is something that you have to do all the time, and you know, we've discussed some provisions for that. One of the provisions is to install additional outside kennels so that we can get all the dogs outside of that facility at one time and actually clean the facility, making it easier for those. And then taking a look at the hours and then the stopgap operation when we fill up to a certain point of, you know, when every shelter has a particular point where you reach a capacity where you are no longer effective. And we have talked about putting a limitation on that so that we don't run up on that difficulty. So anything else discuss about the animal shelter?
Just so that people know, the industrial washer and dryer, it wasn't just bring it in and hook it up.
Right.
There's a whole ordeal we found out that we have to go through to be able to do that. Jessica, you want to explain what you found out?
I was going to say, come on up and tell them who you are and your name at the podium.
I'm Jessica Powell, the Assistant County Administrator of Procurement. I oversee facilities, fleet, and also CTC, which is our transportation department. This has definitely been a very fun thing to play around with the animal shelter. Angie's doing a wonderful job of overseeing everything, and Tim's doing a great job of, you know, being the dog warden. They've both been very helpful, but just getting everything coordinated with getting the washer and dryer picked out, which ones we actually need, what's going to take for the capacity, just all of the regulations on it. In order to install it, we have to have, has to sit up 4 inches, it's a gravity drain, it has to drain 3 inches down, there's a trench, it can't go into a certain type of drain, it has to drain slowly so it doesn't overflow and flood everything. There's electricity situations that we have to have, things just adjusted a little bit.
Permits, licensed
Yeah.
electrician.
So we have to go through, get an architect, have them do all the drawings. We can't have a situation where we do it and it's unsafe. It's just
Right.
not a possibility. So, you know, everybody's been working really well together, just trying to get everything cleaned up, get the area ready for a huge washer and dryer, and then also just getting a quick fix for right now that will help them relieve some of the issues that we currently have. So it's been fun.
I think your point is well taken. When people review this situation, especially if they run private shelters, you know, there's not a complete understanding as to what it takes to, you know, put an installation in that's in accordance with code and all the requirements that are associated with that building and the liability to the taxpayers of Clermont County that we have to protect. And that what we install, it has to be right. Because, you know, the damage to that facility could result in you not being insurable. So, totally understood.
And loss of life, whether it be animal or
You bet.
human. So we have to look at all aspects.
You bet. You know, and the last thing I would say about that is I appreciate those that come in and address us in the board during public participation. You know, it's very, very obvious that there's a lot of passion associated with that, but that's never a bad thing. You know, when people are passionate about a situation, elected officials like Commissioner Batchelor and I and Commissioner Corcoran, we listen, and that's exactly our eyes and ears on the ground. And so I always welcome that. So thanks for all that you do.
Thank you, Jessica.
You bet.
And thank you, Angie, also.
Thank you. Can I offer one more piece related to this? I do want to make sure that the public's aware, we're not using donated funds for the stopgap washer and dryer. This is, we are going to save that for when we can do the full install of the much higher capacity commercial dryer and washer and dryer. We just can't do it right this second, so we're providing this one with county capital funds.
Okay.
And tell your dog we appreciate. Angie said her dog doesn't like her when she comes home because she smells like the other animals now.
And I guess we did leave that part out. Angie has stepped up, and she's been managing the affairs of the animal shelter since there were some concerns identified. So thanks for doing that. We will move from county staff to member comments. Bonnie, any comments? I shouldn't say Bonnie, I should say Commissioner Batchelor.
Dave, we've
Sorry
been
about that.
friends. Dave, we've been friends for a long time. That's perfectly fine.
Okay. Any comments?
I don't think so.
I've already pretty much extinguished
I know.
mine. Well, then for that, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting,
I will make the motion to adjourn.
and I will second that adjournment. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Thank you for being in attendance with us today. Thanks so much for the people that have spoken and actually participated in the meeting. And a shout goes out to all those at Senior Services. Thanks for being on Zoom today and attending and following with the Pledge of Allegiance. So we thank you. We will see you we won't see you next Wednesday, the following Wednesday after that on June the 26th.
Six.
Okay? Thanks again for attending.